So I thought this would be a great idea to provide a quick talk through to accompany the release of the long-term player development pathway, providing some context and tackling a few of those FAQs that might pop up. So before we dive into this document, a quick introduction to who I am. So my name is Nick Lane. This season I was appointed as Director Performance at Gloucester City. So this role has two primary focuses: the day-to-day management and development of both coaches and the recently established performance department. So alongside this, I look to understand the long-term vision of the club, working with the committee, players, coaches, parents to facilitate and construct strategies in order for the club to achieve this vision. So let's get stuck into the document. The first thing to recognise is that this pathway is not something that will be put into place overnight. The first hurdle is to understand this vision we have, to all work from the same page to support our players within their journey. So more feedback throughout this process, the better. It's also to note that this is to be a centralised document with further information and expansion upon areas to be released as we look to implement this. So we will communicate further and provide more clarity as we roll out this initiative. At Gloucester City, we look to encompass all forms of hockey, accommodating every player, every ability, inclusive of social hockey, club hockey, and elite hockey. So this new pathway brings a focus on to players who wish to be the best they can be, looking to develop as players to reach their full potential and to be the best version of themselves. So whatever your aspirations are within hockey, we have a place for you and a home for you across the City Hockey Club. So this is one pathway among many. So what's inside? So what makes a Gloucester City hockey player? We're going to pick out some key personnel within this pathway. Pathways in general, get an understanding. So why have one in place? Then we're going to look at the Gloucester City pathway, the athlete development pathway to support this, the England hockey pathway, and also a senior player pathway. And then finish off by looking at aims to support this strategy. A Gloucester City hockey player. The first thing we want to recognise is that player development and talent is not solely dependent upon stick skills. A big focus has been traditionally, it's been upon this technical development, which is of course a necessity to hockey, your ability to play it. But there's so much more to player development than just your stick skills and that ability. So player development can be put into four categories. We have technical, tactical, psychological, and physical. So we're going to be working with players and coaches to ensure that these areas are recognised and developed, and we're building that full player profile within development. A big factor of this is going to be an educational journey for everyone, which is what we're going to support this document with various resources to achieve. Key personnel. I wanted to pull out a few key positions which will have a key role within the transition of junior to senior hockey, which is a massive factor of this player pathway. So I'm on the left. So I'm playing a predominantly supporting off-field role. Look at the whole strategy and how it's been relayed out. The junior club captain, Chris White, is an instrumental role within our junior academy. Chris will be collaborating with our junior performance coaches to recognise talent and these player profiles we're building to nominate them into the senior teams. Chris will then work with the senior club captains to find a suitable place for them within the senior setup to continue their development. Each section will have a performance lead, working with them on field to maximise their development. So the lead performance skills coach is Trevor Dunn. He is a lifelong member, probably needs no introduction if you've been around our junior section. A recognised figure with a great CV and a brilliant understanding of player development to really encompass building this full player profile to move into the senior section. Our boys section, we're still yet to appoint a lead to spearhead this pathway, but we do have an excellent setup and personnel to accommodate this transition for now, but we'll be looking to put a face to this title soon to really take ownership of this role. Let's move on. Pathways. Pathways are an essential component to not only ensure that players have belief, but can visualize and benchmark their progression. So at Gloucester City, we have a pathway to excel within the club, but we also want to align and support players entering the international pathway if they want to go down that route as well. So England Hockey right now are restructuring their pathway, and sitting in a forum with them last week, it's really exciting to see what they're looking to produce next season, because it's really looking, well, we're looking quite similar. Our pathways in the same ethos, and we're heading in the same direction as a sport. It's great to be part of that journey as a club. So why have a player development pathway? A big focus for me is to ensure the right culture and environment is there for the players. Playing and developing with their friends, creating this training environment, one where coaches have appropriate training models and styles alongside more junior competitive fixtures, I really believe we can achieve this. So this environment can also accommodate players developing, maturing at different rates. So during this period, this development, this growth spurt, all their skills and their abilities will change alongside their body. Potentially the way they play hockey might change, their position, alongside carrying a direct link to increased injury risk. So we'll look to accommodate these transitions, this growth spurt, this maturation period. And I believe getting these reasons right, we can increase the player retention in the sport of hockey as a whole, and also player development in Gloucester City. So youth development pathway. So this is a long-term vision, a vision that will follow the previously discussed environment on where we can nurture and develop players to be confident and competent enough to step into our competitive teams. So another long-term goal for the club is to add a transitional stepping stone into the junior academy. So we can develop an under 18s to truly keep this environment in place, keep them growing, keep them developing in a fun, engaging way to push performance with their friends. I believe they're going to come up, keeping the sport and have a smooth transition into our competitive environment within the senior system. The athletic development pathway. Every player pathway should be accompanied by an athletic development pathway. This is to be expanded upon at a later date, the details. But as you grow and progress through the teams, our performance department will look to develop your athletic ability, reduce injury risk, the massive focus, and also improving upon your game. And we want to do this in a fun, engaging way, how we can deliver this. But by having a performance department and specialist coaches within strength conditioning and sports therapy, I think they're essential, and it should be encouraged within every youth system in today's sport. And that's what we're going to bring into Gloucester City. England Hockey player pathway. So the England Hockey player pathway. So we recognise and fully support and encourage player participation within the England pathway. So on the left-hand side, this is their pathway. For more information, you can click here at the bottom of the document for more details on the website. So this will be updated next season as England Hockey are revamping their talent pathway. So as we get more details, we'll communicate and we'll update this document accordingly. But please click on the link for more information to understand how that diagram on the left works and player can develop through the national pathway into the international setup. Senior player pathway. So we have 5 teams within our senior setup, 5 teams, which is brilliant. We have a focus from social hockey through to club and competitive hockey, all the way to elite hockey. We look to accommodate every player within the game. This also provides another route for player development, recognizing that players can develop at any time in their career and build aspirations and want to push their performance. If the flame's there, we can always support you with that, especially with the talent ID system we're bringing in to recognize that player profile and really push you to the next level. We also have Masters Hockey. So we have multiple players within the current Masters programs. So if you keep that love of the game, you'll always be developing. Your training age will always be building. The more games you play, the better your understanding, the better your stick skills. That growth mindset, and you have that aspiration, then there's no limits. So we're going to move on to our aims. So every strategy needs aims to be effective. And here's just to name a few. So a big focus has been to set up a performance department, getting in specialist coaches to support that holistic development of players, building that player profile. So alongside the services to our members increasing as well, such as the free weekly injury clinic as one example. So one way we look to grow in this area is through a placement program. We have this vision to make this program great, working with the coaches to aid their development, discover themselves as coaches, have this environment for growth, which will support our vision as a club as well. I went through many placement programs to build myself as a coach and my CV and my understanding of the sport and myself, and they were great. So I think we can really build a leading placement program to go with all our technical coaches to build a really, really great environment across the city. Like we identified earlier, player education is going to be a big focus. Taking that ownership, knocking down the barriers in front of you. There's always areas you can develop and build an understanding of how to develop. And then everything we do is going to be underpinned by our culture and our values to keep it a really great environment at the club, from under eights all the way to our senior teams. Ethos stays all the way through. Into a sign off from our chairman, Anton, who's got a great vision for the club and building hockey as a sport in general, as a great advocate for having this performance program, or this performance pathway, amongst everything across the city. And we're really looking to build a club. So that's a document. I know it's quite a comprehensive document. I've thrown a lot at you, but we can communicate everything we do, all the steps we take into implementing this strategy, this pathway. I want to tackle some FAQs. So the frequently asked questions we're going to collate. So please do get in contact, whether it be email, messaging me, or just grabbing me on the side of the pitch. Any questions you may have, please answer and please ask, and we'll get them answered. Okay, thank you for your time.